Well, spring is here in the Midwest, and so is the quarantine. With everyone cooped up at their homes, I thought it was time for an easy, inexpensive project that people could make with their kids, and that could also serve as a skill builder for the young ones. A birdhouse is a perfect first project for a kid, and one that teaches some foundational woodworking skills too. So, let's jump right in. If you're new here, click that subscribe button to stay updated with all of my upcoming videos. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you have any suggestions to improve the build, let me know in the comments section below. Or, if you have any other project ideas, I'd love to hear about them too. I've tried to keep the tools and materials list for this project as basic as possible, and also tried to use only hand tools. To build this birdhouse, you'll need a hammer, a brace, a hand drill, a hand saw, a speed square, a chisel, and 2 buckets. Although not necessary, having a clamper tube will make some things easier. You'll also need a 1/16 inch drill bit, a drill bit with attached countersink. Alternatively, you can use a separate drill and countersink bit if you don't have the combo bit, 1 1/4 or 32mm spade bit, and a tape measure. Materials for this project come out to between $10 to $15 per birdhouse if buying wood new. You'll need 1 box of 4 penny finish nails, exterior wood screws, a screw hook, and exterior grade paint if you choose to paint the birdhouses. I went with red for the roof and white for the rest of the house. You'll also need some wood for the body of the birdhouse. I picked up 2 1x6 by 8 foot cedar boards at the local home center for this project, which yielded 3 birdhouses. Make sure you search through the racks of lumber for the straightest boards you can find, as this will make the project easier. I chose cedar due to its natural rot resistance. Also, it smells great when you cut it, but that's just a bonus. Cedar is a bit more expensive than pine, but I think the rot resistance makes up for it. For this project, you don't need a fancy workbench, or any workbench at all for that matter. You can make a makeshift one out of 2 buckets and the board you're cutting. I started off by trimming a split end off of the board, since I didn't want this ruining the final product. Next, I found the center of the board, which will be the peak of the front panel of the house. With the center established, draw 45-degree lines for the roof slope. Then cut these out. Now to mark for the center of the entrance hole. Mark this at the center of the board, about a ½ inch up from the ends of the roof slopes. Using the 1 1/4 inch spade bit, start boring one side of the hole. You want to go until you feel the tip poking out the other side of the board. Once you feel it, flip the board over and complete the hole from the other side. Next, measure down 8 inches from the end of the roof slope to set the bottom of the birdhouse. Draw this line square across the board with the speed square. While this piece is still attached to the longer board, it's easier to pre-drill for the nails that will hold the birdhouse together. Mark a line about a ½ inch in from either side of the board. Then, mark 3 equally spaced holes on either side. Chuck the 1/16 inch drill bit into the hand drill and drill through at each of these hole locations. Finish it off by cross-cutting the pieces from the board. For the back of the birdhouse, use the first piece that you cut as a template and trace out the shape. This way, any slight irregularities in the roof angle are the same between the 2 pieces. Also mark for pre-drilling the nail holes, as with the first piece. Drill the 6 holes. Then, cut the corners off the piece. Finally, cross-cut it from the board. Next, cut two pieces that are 8 inches long for the sides of the birdhouse. Time to assemble the walls of the birdhouse. Things get a little squirrely here, so it's a good idea to clamp things together temporarily while you work. Use the 4-penny nails in the pilot holes you previously drilled to fasten the sides together. Make sure you check the alignment of the sides as you go. The roof pieces are also 8 inches long. Try to use parts of the board that are clear of knots and other imperfections to help keep rain out of the birdhouse. Since this next section of board had a big knot, I used it to cut out the piece that fits in the bottom of the birdhouse. This next piece is the other roof piece. For assembling the roof to the birdhouse, it will be easier to again pre-drill for the nails. Mark these locations, then drill them out. Start the nails part way in the holes, but don't pound them all the way in just yet. Line the roof board up on the birdhouse and tack a couple of nails in for placement. Then drive them all the way home once satisfied with the location of the board. Take the second roof piece and mark it for nails. 3 into the first roof piece and 2 more into the walls. Drill the pilot holes. Start the nails in the holes. Then attach the piece to the birdhouse. A clamp is helpful here to hold things in place. Alternatively, it might be easier to first attach the 2 roof pieces together at a right angle, and then attach the whole roof assembly to the rest of the birdhouse. With the piece that goes into the bottom of the birdhouse, use the saw to cut off the corners. This will provide drainage for the bottom of the box in case any moisture accumulates. Drill a hole through the center of this piece for one of the exterior screws. This screw is driven in only part way and provides a grip for easy removal of the piece later on for cleaning the birdhouse. The bottom piece is fastened to the rest of the birdhouse with 2 exterior screws, which can be backed out part way and left in the birdhouse when it's time for cleaning. Take a chisel and cut out a small flat on the peak of the roof. This only needs to be about a ½ inch long and centered on the roof. Mark the center of the roof and pre-drill a hole for the hanging hook. With the birdhouse all assembled, all that's left to do is paint. I've chosen an exterior rated apple red color for the roof, and I applied 3 coats. For the walls, I went with a simple, bright white. Again, 3 coats of paint. Don't forget to paint the bottom edges of the walls. The bottom piece that's removable doesn't necessarily need paint. To hang the birdhouses, I made up some lengths of stainless steel wire with loops at the end. See the linked video in the card above for how this is done. The wire loops through itself, or just around the branch, and the birdhouse is hooked into the loop. These looped wires are nice because they're easily removed, they're not anchored to the tree, and they're loose enough to allow the tree to grow in girth over time without constricting the branch. I was very pleasantly surprised. I hung these in the morning and had some birds setting up shop within a couple hours. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and let me know in the comments section if you have any suggestions for other projects.